Okay. This is the last section, and then we start reviewing for a test. All right, money. Money, 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 money. Okay. Y'all did this last year. You can later on mark this in your book if you don't want to go back into your notes. But you will probably go back into your notes or someplace to look these up. You always did in the past. There are 4 formulas that you didn't need to memorize unless it's just common sense and you understand how to do this. I suggest you memorize these. Will I give you a formula sheet for the test?
No,
Quite possibly I will.
oh, okay.
But you will have to know how to use this. Okay, the first one. And y'all should be like, oh, I remember this. Cost plus markup equals retail price. That is used with this other one. Markup equals markup rate times cost. These are used together. If you remember last year, you will remember that some problems required you to use both to get your final answer. So yes, there will be times that you have to use both to get your final answer. Make sure you copy these down nice and neat so that you can look back at them. Okay, so there's one pair that go together. The next one is discount. To get a discount, it's discount equals discount rate times retail price. And retail price minus the discount gives us the sale price. All right. So write that down.
The discount equals discount rate. Does that say times?
Times
Okay.
retail price. And then this one says retail price minus discount gives us sale price. Whoops. Whenever you see rate what does that mean? Anyone remember? Gabby? Percent. So right here, discount rate, you should see a percent number here. Markup rate, percent goes here. So when they talk about markup rate and discount rate, they're referring to the percent of the discount. They marked it up at 50%, that sort of thing. Okay? Now let's talk about what each of these things mean. Look on page 122 for the definitions. We're going to go over them together. So page 122, definitions. 122, definitions. All right. Cost. Michaela, what does it say for cost?
The cost is the amount a merchant pays for the merchandise he will sell.
Okay, So, for example, we're looking for a vehicle for Zachary. And yeah, that's not going to happen, especially when you're looking for a truck. But if you go to the dealership, they have a price on the vehicle. That is not what that dealership paid for that truck. Like if we're at the Ford dealership, that dealership had to buy that truck from Ford itself. Okay? So they bought the Ford truck from the manufacturer. They bring it to their lot and then they mark it up and sell it to you for something else. They have to make a profit, right? So the cost, that first word, is what the dealership, it says the amount a merchant pays for the merchandise that they will sell. Same with everything you're wearing. Nike shoes, everything. Okay? What you guys pay is not, it's more than what that store or merchant pays for it. Yes, Whit?
So basically, the only way that a store can get money is by having the price be higher than
Yeah.
what they
Okay,
sell.
let's say Whit, you sell apples. I know that's boring, but let's just say you sell apples. You bring a big old box of apples to school hoping to make some money. Okay? Let's say you bought the apples for 50 cents each. If you sold the apples to everyone for 50 cents each, you make no money. So you don't want to charge the same or less. But kind of like the guy with the bread, you also don't want to charge too much or people aren't going to buy your apples. Does that make sense? Okay. So the next one, Michael. Markup.
The markup is the amount the merchant adds its cost to arrive at the retail price.
Okay, so let's say Whit. He buys apples for 50 cents each, but he's selling them to y'all for $1 each. So the markup is the amount the merchant adds to his cost. So how much is Whit adding to his cost? 50 cents. So the markup on Whit's apples is 50 cents. He bought them for 50 cents. He's selling them to y'all for $1, so the markup is 50 cents. He's adding 50 cents more. Make sense? Emily, read markup rate.
Markup rate is the amount markup on an item as a percent of its cost.
Okay, again, percent, markup rate. Okay, so the percent, the rate of which Whit increased his apples. Gabby, retail price.
The retail price is the merchant's cost plus markup. It's the regular amount the merchant asks his customer to pay for merchandise.
Okay, retail price. Whit's apples, what's the retail price of his apples?
$1.
$1. So he's having y'all pay $1 for each apple. All right, Taylor, discount rate.
Discount rate is the percent by which the retail price is reduced.
Okay, so let's say Whit sells his apples at $1. And then he says, you know what? I decided I'm going to be nice and I'm going to sell them for 75 cents each.
It's only 50% markup.
Okay, so the discount rate is the rate of which he's giving you a discount. Cecilia, read about discount.
Is the amount by which the retail price is reduced.
Okay, so how much is his discount if he sells them for $1, but he's selling them to y'all for 75 cents? 25 cents. So the discount is 25 cents. Is he charging 25 cents for the apples? No, but that's the discount. And then sale price, Aiden?
Sale price customers tell us after the retail price has been discounted.
So the sale price of his apples are 75 cents. Do y'all see all the differences? I told y'all about my shoes that I bought that time in like Macy's, right? They're $1.50 each.
Shoes were $1.
Yeah, I walked in to pay my bill, and I walked in at the shoe department to go pay my bill at Macy's, and this woman sees me walk in, she grabs me and she goes, hey, I've got a shipment coming in of shoes, and I'm pulling all these racks out. I gotta get rid of them like in the next 30 minutes. And I'm selling them all for like $1.50 or $2. It was like something like that. And she said, "Do you need any shoes?" No, but I'll buy them still at that price. They were like Italian shoes, all this stuff, okay? So I asked her to give me 5 minutes. And I was grabbing, I didn't even look at the shoes. If they were my size or my mom's size, I was throwing them in a pile. Walked home dragging, or came home dragging all these bags of stuff. I learned then about this stuff and how much money, how much markup on the stuff you guys buy. There's no way. They would have taken a huge hit, a huge loss, if they were to do that and it was way off the cost. You see what I'm saying?
Cheap to make, expensive to buy.
Exactly. So that told me that day, yeah, she knocked it off really, low to get rid of them, but she couldn't have knocked it off that much or they would have taken a hit. So that tells you how much the stuff you wear actually costs to make and how much you guys are actually paying for this stuff.
This shirt's probably like $2.
No, I mean, especially women's shoes, men's shoes, especially shoes. You can look at 2 pairs of tennis shoes. Yes, there's going to be a difference between the $100 ones and the $15 ones. But is it that big of a difference that it's that much of a cost difference? No. Yes, one may last a little bit longer, but not at that rate. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. This stuff is like real world stuff. Anyway, okay, here we go. Go ahead and now look at page 123. We're going to talk about example 1. We're going to, like we have in the past, we'll do it together. I've never been that lucky before. I mean, since then. Ever before and since.
This is not hers.
And I do like shoes. I am a stereotypical woman. Okay. Hold on. Taylor, read example 1 for me.
Tom and Harry Sporting Goods marks up all clothing 75%.
That's a lot.
If their cost for a shirt is $15, what retail price will Richard have to pay?
Okay, look at what I've underlined in my book. I have underlined cost and retail price. When you're reading these things, you want to like highlight or underline the things that are important so you don't get confused. Also, I have, 75%. I've already written up there, percent, that means we're dealing with rate. Okay? So I've underlined cost. So if their cost for the shirt is $15, they're asking what is the retail price, and they gave us a percent. So how much will they have to pay? Let's talk about this. So the question is, what is retail price? That's what we are looking for. So you need to make sure you know what you're looking for. They gave us this information. They told us the cost is $15. And they also told us that the markup rate, I have MR, is 75%. What do I do to percents though? Taylor?
Turn the decimal.
Turn it to a decimal by moving the decimal 2 places to the left, and I get 0.75. Are y'all with me so far? Taylor, do you have a question?
So this is basically what we did yesterday, but with money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is probably a little bit easier than yesterday.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, because all you have to do is plug in the information that you've got. So let's look at what we've got. We've got markup rate and we have cost. So we look up here, we know, okay, we're talking about cost. They asked for retail price. All right, which formula would we use? Aiden?
Cost plus markup.
equals retail price? Okay, the problem with that is, what information did they give us? They gave us cost, right? Did they give us the actual markup? And we're looking for retail price, so all I have is cost, right? But we can use this one, correct? Because they gave us the rate and they gave us the cost. That would give us the markup. Then we can plug it in here to find our ultimate goal. So we're going to start with the first one, or this second part here. Okay, so I have markup. We're using this formula, equals markup rate times cost. And I'm just going to plug in the information I have. Markup rate is 0.75 and the cost is 15. And the book's already done your work for you. 0.75 times 15 is $11.25. So the markup is $11.25. Now we can go to, now that we have the markup, we can go back to this one, plug it in so we can find retail price. That's why sometimes you're going to use both of these. So we're using this formula because the ultimate question was, what's the retail price? So the cost, we plug in, they gave us $15. We just found the markup, so I plugged that in. We add that together and we get $26.25. So the retail price that you pay is $26.25. The store, the sporting goods store, pays $15 for that product. You pay $26.25. And yes, you're like, my gosh, I'm getting ripped off. But does the store have to make a profit and make a living too? Yes, they do. Yes.
Just
Does that mean that they're getting
For profit.
$11.25?
They get to put in their pocket, the store, $11.25.
What if you think about it? That's not, or it's some.
But what a shirt? If you sold 50 shirts, you're making a little bit of money there.
That's true. And then they have to pay everyone too.
Yeah, they have to pay. They have to pay the electric bill of the store. They have to. So yeah, it's not a lot, and that's why when I go look for vehicles, I'll tell the guy, I'm not asking you to sell me the vehicle at cost, but I'm not going to pay $10,000 extra. I'll give you about, and I've done this now, not here lately. I'll say I'll pay like no more than $5,000 over the cost. I'll even try to get them even lower, but like El Jefe, I got a really great deal on, but I'm not going to pay that huge markup. No way. I mean, I want to be fair, but they need to be fair too. Okay, let's look at page 123 again at example 2. Example 2. Aiden, read example 2.
Determine the retail price of a tennis racket if Paula saved $52.50 by buying it during the 30% off sale. How much did he pay for the racket off sale?
Okay, so there's 2 questions here. They're asking, let's look at that again. Determine the retail price.
What is the arrow pointing to in the first one?
2 questions for this problem. It says determine the retail price of a tennis racket if he saved by buying it during a 30%, okay, there's discount rate, that's your rate, off the sale. How much did he pay for the racket on sale? Okay, so they're asking what was the retail price? That was the first part. This is a confusing question. It says determine the retail price, and then the last part said how much did he pay for the racket on sale? So then they also want to know the sale price. What did they give us? They gave us the discount rate, which was 30%. That was in the problem. And what do we do to the percents?
Change to decimal.
Change it to a decimal, which is 0.3. And it said he saved $52.50. Is that how much he spent on the racket?
No.
What would, when it says he saved $52? Aiden, what is that?
He wouldn't that be discount.
Yep, that's the discount. He saved $52.50. He saved $52.50. Emily bought an apple from Witt when it was on sale. She saved 25 cents because she bought it for 75 cents. That's the sale price. The retail price was $1. So she saved herself 25 cents. All right, so we look at our, we're looking for these two things. So we look at our two formulas. And which one do we have enough information to use? First, Aiden, this one or this one? The first or second?
The first one.
Yeah, they gave us the discount, right? And they gave us a discount rate. So since we have those two pieces of information, we can figure out the retail price. That was the answer to one of those questions. Once we get the retail price, we can plug it in here, subtract it from the discount, and we'll get the answer to our second question. All right. So discount, equals discount rate times retail price. Okay, so we know in the problem they gave us the discount was $52.50 equals, they gave us the rate 0.3 times, what should we call this, Aiden?
R.
R. So all we're doing, guys, is plugging into the formula the stuff that we were given. So I'm going to rewrite this. 52.50 equals what's 0.3 times R, Aiden?
0.3R.
Now, intruder alert, we divide both sides by 0.3. And I'm left with $175 equals R, which is the retail price.
And that's what the store paid to get the racket.
No, that would be cost. Retail price is what that's how much normally the racket costs. Retail price is what we normally would be paying for it. So that racket, tennis racket's $175.
Without the discount.
That's right, without the discount. So now they want to know how much was his sale price. What did he end up paying during that sale? So we're going to use the other formula. Retail price minus the discount equals the sale price. So we know that the retail, the amount of the racket normally is $175 minus the discount. We know the discount is $52.50. So you subtract the two, and your book's already done it for you. He paid $122.50 for the sale price. So that's not a bad deal. Now, while you're catching up on that, let me ask you this. Let's talk about sales. Every time there's a holiday, every time it's a rainy day, every time it's a sunny day, every time it's fall, every time it's summer, spring, whatever the reason, back to school, we have sales. Okay? Sometimes they're really good deals. You have to be careful though. Sometimes stores like to raise their prices just a little bit and then do this big commercial about a sale going on, and then they give you a sale price, which is almost back to the original price. You need to be really shop around. You need to watch the prices of things like on a regular basis so you have an idea of throughout the year how much these things normally cost, so that when, especially coming up, we have Thanksgiving coming up, biggest shopping holiday of the year for Christmas, you're going to see sales everywhere. Start looking now at what some of these things cost right now at the beginning of October. Watch to see how much change as you get closer to Thanksgiving. They may go up a little bit so that when they have a sale, they're back down to maybe the price they are at this moment. See what I'm saying? It happens. Okay, moving on. Any questions so far? All right. Page 124. Page 124. Look at page 124. Tip commission rate. All right, you need to know this formula. Tip rate times your total bill equals the tip. I'm going to put 2 stars here. If you go to a restaurant, you need to tip your servers. Okay? The tip, your total bill, it says, like, okay, so for example, if your bill is $35, all right, you would multiply that by your tip rate, and that tells you your tip. Okay? You're not just paying just the tip or just this bill. You're paying the bill plus this tip. Okay? Right? All right, let's move on. Again, this is all stuff we did last year. Commission rate times sales equals commission. For example, let's say Michael is a car salesman. He sells Teslas. Gabby has been dreaming of a dark blue Tesla. So she goes over to the dealership, and Michael says, I will sell you this Tesla right here for $75,000. Okay? Now, does Michael get the $75,000? No. The dealership gets the $75,000 that Gabby's going to pay. But Michael will get a commission off of it. For example, if he sells a Tesla for $75,000 to Gabby, and his commission is some percent of that, he may get like, I don't know, $2,000 for the sale of that car. So she's paying $75,000 for the car, but he may get in his paycheck an extra like $2,000-$3,000 or more, depending on whatever the rate is, and that's his money off of the sale of that car. Now the thing is, when you start doing this stuff, it sounds really good. Like, man, one car, I sell one car and I get that much money. How many Teslas do you think Michael's going to sell in a month?
5.
Like three or
Oh,
two.
like
4.
I would say
2 or
like
4.
two.
I mean,
I mean, if he was Elon
Depends on
Musk,
the area.
it depends on the area.
Yeah.
And guys, it depends on the weather. If it's raining, how many people go out and even look at cars?
Ha!
So, I mean, it could be one of those bad rainy months and Michael's lucky to even
Arizona,
sell
it
one.
doesn't rain there.
Okay, but my point is, if it's a high-end vehicle, like a luxury vehicle or a really nice one, he's gonna have trouble selling a whole bunch of those things. Okay, he will be lucky if he gets 1 or 2 sold a month, sort of thing. Now, some of these dealerships, if you look, they don't have anything on the lot. So these poor salesmen are lucky if they sell 1 car, period, right now. I mean, I don't care if it's 20 years old, they can't sell these things. So right now, commission is tough. Usually, that's where the money's at. But right now, not necessarily. If you are a realtor and sell a house, okay, the bank is who gets the money for the house. But the realtor is going to get a nice little commission. So if they sell a house for $300,000, they're going to get a nice little, bonus kind of money in their paycheck. However, again, how many houses do you think one person can sell in a month? You're up against a ton of real estate agents. And you may, like in my neighborhood, in my whole neighborhood, I may have 1 or 2 homes for sale at a time. Okay, and they may, oh no one wants to buy. Okay, you can show homes all day long and maybe get 1 or 2 sold a month, if even. So commission looks good because you get a big old portion of that, but it may not happen that often. So it's kind of a scary thing to, live on. Okay, remember that rate is your percent. Okay, don't forget that. And I'll probably teach y'all tomorrow about Mrs. Rogers' way of figuring out your tip. I think I taught y'all that last year, but I didn't. I can teach y'all tomorrow. It's my way.
So are we gonna
You
finish
just
those?
Okay, who recognizes this?
Unfortunately, so.
Pert. Who remembers what I is?
Entrance.
Has a lot of information. Interest. And you need to know that is the money earned or paid. Interest can be the money that you earn, I always call bonus money, or it could be the money you got to pay. P, principal. That's the money, the actual money we're dealing with. R, of course, is rate, and that is your percent. And T,
It's time.
time. And we do it by months or years?
Years?
Years. So if they give you months, like 12 months, that equals how many years? So you'll have to do some converting. What if they give you 6 months?
That'd be half a year, yeah.
That's all right. But you need to remember it's always in years, and they'll try to trick you on that. Okay, so interest, let's talk about that. All right, interest as a refresher course. Let's say Cecilia. She wants to go to college, art school, graphic drawing, all that good stuff. Okay, art school. And she's got to pay for her college, and Emily owns a bank. Cecilia needs to pay $20,000 towards her college. Okay? That's like 1 year, actually. So $20,000. So she goes to Emily and says, I need to borrow $20,000 to pay for my art school. Emily says, no problem, Cecilia. Here you go. She freely gives her the $20,000. Now, does Cecilia need to pay back the $20,000 that she's borrowing?
Yes.
It's not, hey guys, let me clue you in. It's not a gift, okay? The bank doesn't give you any money. So she's borrowing the $20,000. So Cecilia's going to have to pay the $20,000 back to Emily. Emily's going to say, but here's a catch. I'm going to loan you the $20,000, but it's going to cost you a little extra. Okay? It's going to cost you to borrow money from me. And let's say she says it'll cost you $1,000 to borrow $20,000 from me. So, how much money does Cecilia really need to pay back Emily?
$21,000.
$21,000. She's got to pay back the $20,000 plus the $1,000. The $1,000 that Cecilia has to pay extra to Emily, that's your interest.
Well, where did I get the money from?
You're gonna have a job, and you're gonna pay, and you pay back each month
They give you
Well,
like,
if I had the job, then why would I need to go to
because you needed the money right away.
Why?
Because colleges, you know,
is expensive.
This is
Cecilia, just go with the
Yeah.
story.
it's just a
It's hard
It's
to
just an
Hypothetical
example.
It's
Okay,
harder to have-
college isn't
Cecilia,
monthly
you're broke
payments the
because
way
you-
actually, they have financial aid, but it's still the same thing. Colleges have financial aid. Well, they will actually loan you the money to go. You have to pay them back. They also will charge an interest at a sometimes much higher rate than the bank. I know people that are my age that are still paying their financial loans back to the colleges. So you need to be really careful when you do that. A lot of times banks have these things set up for people to go to college. And you need to compare, because sometimes a college has a better deal, sometimes the bank has a better deal. My suggestion is all of you do really, really well in either academics or a sport or something and get some scholarships. Then you don't have to even worry about this math problem. Aiden,
Is that how banks make most of their
interest, yeah.
interest. Now, there's a flip side. So that's an example of money paid. Shh, whoever's clicking, stop. There is a thing where interest can be money earned. For example, certain savings accounts at banks. Okay? You can talk to your parents about this, and if they don't understand, a lot of banks will explain it. You can look it up online. My mom she has invested a lot into certain savings accounts. Now, listen up. This is good, especially at your age. So, for example, certain savings accounts. Let's say you got some birthday money or Christmas money, or your parents gave you some money to save or hold on to. Let's say $200. Okay? Instead of spending the money right away, you can put that money into a savings account, leave it there, and it gains interest. Like the bank is saying, if you put your money in my bank and just leave it there for a while, I'll pay you for that. Basically is how it's done. You're literally earning money for doing nothing but leaving your money there for a while.
But they don't give you a lot.
It's not a lot, but it's something. In fact, my mom she took, the more you put in there, the more you earn, you know what I'm saying? And your interest. My mom has several of these set up where she took huge chunks of money that she got from like retirement, or she sold a car or something like that. And instead of spending it, she put it in these different accounts. The money, the interest that it's earning, she just uses that money to pay her bills on. So the money is always sitting there earning all this stuff. She's not working, and she pays her bills on that money. You see what I'm saying? So she's not working or anything, and she's got her money actually working for her. So the interest that she's gaining in some of these accounts, she just lives on it.
It's actually quite
But
smart.
how much
It's
is
very smart.
That's-
Look, if you
that's-
If we have enough,
Yes?
Why do you have them, or why does she have them in separate accounts? Because I thought if you had them in one, like the more money.
It depends on the account.
Oh.
And that's something for like a financial advisor to go into. But yeah, she has it, and a lot of times it can be stocks and stuff like that. But she's got it in different accounts. She's even got one that was some account that popped up for both of my kids for college. And it was only for a 2-year or something thing, special deal. So she left it for 2 years, and then she pulled it out right there at the end. And I think she gained like $2,000 each for each kid in a 2-year period, or 2 to 5 year period, or something like that. So those accounts are nice to have because you're earning interest for just letting your money sit there. Okay? Does that make sense? So interest can be money that you pay when you borrow, but it can also be stuff you earn. All right, Taylor.
so if your parents gave you enough money when you started out by yourself, you could technically not have to work.
If they gave you like $1 million and you put that in there, and when you say not work, does that mean you're going to live in a box? Or are you gonna, when you say not work and live off of it, well, define that. Are you eating crackers and drinking water every day? Because you may be able to afford that and not work. But if you want more, then you may need an extra job.
Sadness.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, and principal. Cecilia borrowed money from Emily. What was the principal? Raise your hand. Anyone remember? Gabby? 20,000. So Cecilia borrowed 20,000 from Emily. The 20,000 that she borrowed, that's the principal. The interest was that $1,000 extra. Principal was the 20,000. Okay, we're gonna stop there, and tomorrow we will do part 2, which means your test will be bumped to the next day.
Thank